Hello, hello. All right, let's see if it's working this time. We're good? All right, excellent. Hello, honey, how are you? All right, so we are having meatless meatloaf. Meatless meatloaf. That sounds pretty weird, right? Because normally when you're having meatloaf, you have it with a hamburger. Oh, hang on. However, today we're making a vegetarian type meatloaf. Meatloaf. So what I'm going to do is, instead of using hamburger that you would normally use for your meatloaf, I'm just gonna finish tearing this package open. And this is a pack of the regular Eve's ground round. And as you can see, just literally it crumbles, just like your hamburger meat would. So this is what I'm going to use as my main ingredient for my meatloaf this evening. And because there's only 2 of us, I'm just going to make a small meatloaf. So I'm just gonna give my hands a rinse here. And with our meatloaf tonight, I've cut up some potatoes because we're gonna have some mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna take care of that right now. I'm going to turn you that way. And I'm going to, I'm sorry, I was supposed to be a little bit more prepared than this today, but. So I have my oven preheating right now at 350. And I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my Instapot. Now this thing is fantastic for cooking vegetables super fast. So I am adding 4 cups of water to my Instapot. And I am going to add my potatoes, which I've already pre-cut and washed. I've got some water in there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add that in as well. And I've rinsed my Brussels sprouts, so I'm gonna throw those in with my potatoes. Now, if you've never used an Instapot, this thing's super fun and it's super easy. It's very, it's great to save you time. I love my Instapot, especially at Christmas time, because I can cook an entire bag of potatoes in here in like no time at all. So hello Melissa, hello Anastasia, thank you for tuning in, everybody. All right, so I've got my potatoes and my Brussels sprouts in my Instapot, and I'm going to show you the top of the lid. So this is the back of your lid, and this is where your pressure cooker valve is. Now, this is considered up, that is down. So when you put your lid on, you're going to want to make sure that that's down. If it's not down right away, don't worry about it. You can just click it down before, or if you happen not to check, your Instapot will let you know, because your steam will start escaping from here and you'll hear it. So you'll just come over and with a spoon tap it down because it's hot because of the steam. So we are gonna use the vegetable button, and I'm literally gonna put that in for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And that's gonna cook 4 medium-sized potatoes cubed, and it's going to also cook my Brussels sprouts. My Brussels sprouts, I'm going to add them later to the oven with some maple syrup, and yeah, it's going to be really good, and spices. So back to the meatloaf. We've got our graham round, and I am going to use a pack of Clubhouse meatloaf mix. So that way there, it just gives me that, again, that meatloaf taste without having actual meat in there. And bold mustard. Give it a shake, there you go. 1/4 cup bold mustard. And 1/2 cup of ketchup. I use Heinz. I use whatever brand you, oh, sorry, that way. So just like you would, depending on what ingredients you use with your meatloaf, I always use breadcrumbs, mustard, ketchup, and an egg, which I got over there, I'm gonna grab. So I'm gonna use up some I'm gonna go with a cup of breadcrumbs. I'm just gonna reach over here because I forgot my eggs. So because I am using an egg, it's not considered a vegan recipe. However, for some it would still be considered a vegetarian recipe if they eat eggs. Not everybody does. So now I'm just gonna clean my hands before I did this. I'm gonna mush it all together just like you would your hamburger meat. And just like with your hamburger meat, if you find that you've added maybe too much ketchup or too much sauce, just continue adding a little bit of breadcrumbs to it, just so that it helps it stick together a little better. And again, just like, give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna rinse my hands. Just like with your hamburger, everything just blends really nicely together. Now I'm going to use, because this is all vegetables, I am going to use just a small dab of olive oil to put in the bottom of my pan. I'm just gonna switch that around. I'm surprised the Instant Pot hasn't started up yet. It takes a little while to build the pressure. Usually it's about a 5-minute thing. So there we go. Just gonna line that. And now I'm gonna take my ground round, which again, it looks like your hamburger. And I'm just going to take all of that and I'm going to put it in here, into my pan. I'm just going to press it in like you would, like when you were making meatloaf with hamburger. There we go. All that in there. And then I'm just going to press it in so it evens out throughout my pan. And just like that, I now have a meatless meatloaf ready for the oven. I will show it to you. Something about making meatloaf, your hands always get like super dirty because your kids are always like in everything. So, all right. And now I have a meatless meatloaf. And I did that with the Eve's Ground Round 1 pack. And again, ketchup, mustard, breadcrumbs, and a pack of Clubhouse meatloaf seasoning. And that's it. I'm gonna wait for my Instapot to finish cooking my potatoes and my Brussels sprouts. And then when that's done, I'll just mash up my potatoes. I'm gonna throw my Brussels sprouts into another baking dish, like a bigger one than this, obviously. And I'm just gonna top it with a teaspoon of pure maple syrup, and I'm gonna pop that in the oven while I'm cooking my meatloaf. And I've got my oven at 350. It's preheating right now, so once it's done preheating, I'll pop this in the oven, pop my Brussels sprouts in there, and I'll cook them down for I'm gonna cook my meatloaf for 30 minutes because again, it's not hamburger meat, it is already vegetable. Because it's already ground round, is already pre-cooked for you. You don't have to cook it as long as you would regular hamburger, which I believe is about a good 45 minutes for a meatloaf in the oven. So that's it. And I will post pictures as always with the results of our dinner once it's cooked. So have a great day. Tomorrow, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank again. I can't remember what I said we were making for tomorrow, but anyways, I have it all written down. I literally had to write down my meals this week so that I wouldn't forget, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. And of course, it's not going to end.